Well, I've got a sort of treat for everyone. Depends on what you define as a treat, I guess. Today almost celebrates 10 years of playing guitar, being a guitarist, whatever. I don't really consider myself a guitarist because I'm not any good. Yeah, it takes me back, really. I did try to make a script, but I gave up because there's so much to write. So it's better to just go off memory. Ironically, it's usually one of the rare times that I can go off memory. So I just said that I don't use guitars for metal covers because I use VST, but I don't play guitar for them because there's different reasons. The software doesn't allow for seamless recording. I've always found there's a delay on FL Studio, and when using audio interface there's an even bigger delay, so that defeats the purpose. It's just stupid, so I just gave up. And the second one is I've got a disability that makes it really hard to sort of play, especially under pressure, like anxiety as well. I find it hard to play in time and in the scales that are required, because otherwise I'd be able to make some stuff, but I don't think I can. I'll never be able to play live for that reason. So anyway, over the years I've had a fair few guitars, and I want to talk about them and my guitar journey, and inspirations and where I am now in terms of guitars. To start off with, I'll start off with the inspirations. At the time I was in college, I started there in 2013, but I was starting to listen to more rock music, because that was the thing that my dad liked, and also my mum to an extent. And I started listening to Def Leppard, Rolling Stones, what's the other one? I can't remember. I think it's a bit of ZZ Top, AC/DC. I can't remember the others. But I definitely listened to like hard rock, Guns N' Roses, yeah, that's one. And those were pretty inspiring to me. So I thought, I like guitar, so I might as well listen to it. Because at the time I was listening to like dubstep and pop and stuff, which were good to an extent, because it was like early 2000s. It started to get shit after 2013, so I just stopped listening. So I was looking for a way to learn guitar quick and easy, in a way that I can do it. Because looking at tabs, it just made no sense to me at the time. And I asked around, and one of my friends from school, actually, who's still in school actually, at the time I messaged him anyway, not now. Pretty sure he's an adult now. But he said something like Guitar Hero, and I thought, okay, but that's not how you learn guitar. So I looked up for like a guitar game that's like Guitar Hero, and what came up was Rocksmith. And it was the latest one, Rocksmith 2014. I was just everywhere for some reason. And so I did some digging and discovered that was the game. And all I needed was a guitar and a Realtone cable, which is really convenient. That makes it so much simpler, and I don't have to get lessons, because I was actually considering lessons for that matter. And I couldn't really handle lessons really, because I don't communicate very well in person under pressure either, and they cost a lot, so that's why I went with Rocksmith. And eventually I got my first guitar, which is the Rockburn ST style electric guitar. This was garbage. The guitar on Rocksmith was really good, but the guitar was bad. I had so many issues troubleshooting it. I dreaded the thing. I actually hit it a few times, I think, because I was just so fucking angry with rage. Yeah, the thing basically didn't pick up through the game, and even with the volume knob all the way up and the Windows sounds all the way up. And there was no way to bypass it back then, so you basically had a guitar that you couldn't play. You couldn't play Rocksmith, and that's one of the biggest issues with the game at that time anyway. Not to mention it didn't have a sort of volume booster for those shit guitars back then, I don't think. That was a clusterfuck, so I stopped while I was starting listening to more music, and oh yeah, Sonic Adventure was one of the reasons I picked up a guitar anyway. Over the song, yeah, because that was one I wanted to really learn and also crack the heat up, which actually now I think I might make a cover of as well. I'll write that down, it's a maybe. But yeah, those were two really cool songs at the time, and I was really inspired by John Sunu, however you say his name. So that was one of the big reasons. I did also consider a Sonic guitar at one point, but it's too expensive. And also I like Tails more, so that was a predicament. But the next guitar I found was actually really funny because I love the Explorer type guitar. I thought they looked amazing. Also, they were. I just really like the look of them, just the shape. It's just so asymmetrical and different. And I came across a advertisement through, of all places, Facebook. And it was from a Dave Mustaine post, I think, because I was following him. And he was advertising his new signature models from Dean Guitars, the Zero models. So what I ended up getting through that was a Dean Zero X Dave Mustaine, because it's like £250 or something at the time. It's like half price, I think, as well. It looked like a decent guitar. So I bought it, and fuck me, it worked. It actually worked on Rocksmith, and so I started using that to learn, and it was pretty fun. But the guitar had some issues. Obviously I banged it up a bit because of the size of the fucking thing. It basically hung out too much, and with the little space I had, it didn't help. I played that basically, and it was fun. And it helped me learn. It would be my baby for a while, let's be honest. And a funny story that happened with it, the D-string broke once. The fucking D-string. The E-string's broken a few times on that, but the D-string somehow broke because of how old it was. Well, how old when it broke actually. Technically speaking, it was like 2016. Had it for 2 years, played it non-stop. I was surprised nothing else broke with it actually. Trying to edit the video wants to do this. So I'll do. So the next guitar I think I got, I could be wrong on this, is the Denver 7 string, because I was starting to listen to more metal music and I realised that some of them were quite low in tuning. Like, I think one of the bands I listened to was Slipknot, and that was one of the reasons I got the 7 string. And there were also bands like, I'm trying to think, who played B standards. I can remember. I actually can't remember the bands. I think one of them might have been Arch Enemy, but they didn't play in that. In Flames was definitely one of the metal bands I listened to. Obviously listened to Metallica, Megadeth, Slayer, Anthrax, all ones. I can't remember what the B standard ones were at that time. It was like 2015, 2016. And I definitely hadn't heard of stuff like Deftones and Periphery at that time. That was much later. But I just got one anyway, just to support the B standard tunings, because I played all these guitars on Rocksmith. And yeah, and this guitar was weird, because it worked, but it had a weird issue where the B string was like hanging off a bit. I was away from the E string quite a bit, and I reckon that was maybe compensation for the vibration, because it obviously lower the string, the more vibration it has. But it was weird. And it played alright. It wasn't perfect. I had a few issues with it, I think. That was that. And also had an obsession with putting sticker inlays in them to make them look nice. I got a cherry blossom one for this one, I think. It looked good. I played it for like a Demetor and stuff as well. That was definitely one of the bands that I listened to eventually. My fourth guitar happened to be a Dean MLX, and this was like when I was listening to Pantera and stuff, I think, I thought it was fucking amazing, and I think Dimebag's guitar used to be one of these. It was like a X sort of model. It looked pretty cool, to be honest. It's not the coolest thing ever, but it is pretty cool. And I don't think I had any issues with it, other than the size. But yeah, I did find that when I hung them on the wall, with guitar hangers obviously, I did try a thingy for it, holder thing that goes on the floor, but it didn't work. But yeah, when I tried the hangers, it just kept touching the bottom, and just decided one day that it's not worth the hassle, so I ended up selling it along with the other two because I got new ones. The fifth guitar I ever got was a Martin Smith W41 E Electro, no, W401 E Electro acoustic guitar. There we go. It's a mouthful. What can I say about that? I just got it for fun, really, because I thought maybe one day I'd be able to play it, and when I was going to college as well, I thought maybe one day I'll just be one of those cliches, I'll just fucking play a guitar under the tree. No, that never happened. It's interesting because you could also play it on Rocksmith, because it was an electric as well, and that's one of the reasons I got it, but it was too loud, so I just didn't play it in the end. And actually gave that away as well. The sixth ever guitar I got was a Schecter SGR C1. It was a very old guitar. Very old. It was blue. It smelled something like, I think it was a factory smell. It was just so bizarre. Like, it played alright, had a nice job on it, like paint job and finish. It's all glittery, and it just didn't play too great overall. Like, it felt good to play, but it didn't play well. I remember having issues on the lead guitar. And similar things on the Zero X Dave Mustaine actually. I think overall it was an alright guitar, despite the issues. I mainly played it through standard tuning, because I tuned everything differently. Like, the DDMLX was E flat standard. The E7 string was obviously like F sharp and B standard. And the Zero X was D standard. And I gave away the Rockbone because it just wasn't playable. I thought someone else might be able to make use of it, as cheap as well. Yeah, and I actually ended up selling those guitars as well. Like, everything until guitar number 9. Yeah, it's pretty much something I sold, except for one. So, the next one I got was actually surprising because I wanted to learn bass after sort of playing out a bit, like seeing the note highways and stuff, and the different techniques. Like, I wanted to learn slap bass as well. And that's quite fun actually, it's just a bit loud at times. With my hypersensitivity, it's overwhelming. That's why I couldn't get along with acoustics. I got a bass as a gift for, I think, my birthday or Christmas. It was one of them, and it was a Rocktail Groovers JBE bass, and it was really good actually. It's a really nice bass, and it played things so well. It's probably the best bass I've owned yet, and I actually got a much more expensive bass later on, and I'll explain that. It's just interesting. But yeah. Trying to think. Need to crop this. Yeah, everything I was doing this is not easy. So the bass, that was it. I just played a bit of bass. I think one of the funnest songs to play at the time was like anything Red Hot Chili Peppers and California Brain. That song, that was quite fun. Also a bit of Iron Maiden as well, those were fun. And Black Sabbath, I remember that as well. Yeah, so at the time I was listening to much more metal stuff, like old school, like Saxon, obviously Iron Maiden. There's another one that was quite good. I can't remember. I did try Dio eventually, but that was later on. Did a bit of Ozzy as well. I can't remember. But my influences were expanding, and I was also listening to Skeleton Summit at the time, and I quite liked them. And I ended up going into Periphery and also other bands I was around at the time. I can't fucking remember, God. But they inspired me to get my 8th guitar, which is the Lindo LDG 7X Quilted Maple. It's a 7-string, obviously. That was a great guitar. The only problem was it rusted a bit, and also, for some reason, the company, who are all nice people, by the way, they called me up to make a review, asked me to make a review, which is a bit awkward. And at the time I was actually having my mental health problems and breakdowns, so it wasn't convenient to have that sort of thing happen. Yeah, other than that, it's a pretty decent guitar. It was actually pretty good. I started using it as my lead instrument, and I had quite a bit of fun on it, and unfortunately the finish on it wasn't great, like the type of wood in the paint job. A bit lacking. It wasn't as advertised. But I do recommend the guitars anyway, because for playability they're pretty good. Because I ended up getting a bass later on, I'll go into that later. It's even on the list, yeah. And it was around the time I was listening to the Skeleton Summit and stuff. Yeah, I can't figure out anything else about that. The next one is the 9th guitar, Harley Benton BZ6000 NT. This was a bad boy, and I only got it because of, I think Mike Mitchell was his name, from Skeleton Summit, because he played the 6-string bass on these songs, and they were really impressive. Weird ass tuning though. BADG C was the tuning. That's just bizarre. But yeah, it's a fun thing to play. And I do enjoy a lot of the Skeleton Summit songs. They're fun on both bass and guitar, that's one of the things that's so good about them. So that was why I got Harley Benton. This happens to be the heaviest guitar I've ever owned, and also biggest. It's I'm like 90% sure it's like jumbo frets. Whatever the term means. The thing is just massive, and it weighs about like 6 kilograms or something. Like 10% of my body weight, like, no, 3%, 4%, it's like, still quite a bit. It's insane. Job lifting the thing, I'm surprised it hasn't broken any of my hangers yet. That's the insane thing. But yeah, it's also one of the most gimmicky basses, unfortunately, because learning that finger style is pretty difficult, and you also can't slap it because of the space between the bridge and the strings themselves. So it makes it a job to sort of slap bass. So yeah, and actually, interesting fact, I'm planning to sell this one. I'm not sure how much I'll get for it because it's not in good condition, it's a bit rusty and stuff. It's been a good bass, so it's not the best one there. So my 10th guitar is the Ibanez RGI, fucking hell these names, RGD IX6 MPB Surreal Blue Burst. That's a fucking mouthful. This guitar is an interesting story because at the time I think I sold my Denver 7-string, and I needed a guitar to replace the B string and F sharp standard. Well, although I already got the Lindo for the B standard, but the definitely wasn't that great because of the string issues and the pickups. It got the job done, but again, it's not good enough. That's what I found with some guitars anyway. I ended up picking up the Iron Label here, and it wasn't cheap, but it was a really nice guitar. I just thought it was interesting because I started beginning looking into like colourful guitars, hence the Lindo, and it was an interesting journey to go on. But it's really hard to find a guitar that actually looked good because some of them are just like edgy or just not very good looking. And that's one of the problems with guitars actually, that sometimes the gimmick is that they look good. It's not that they play good, it's just that they look good. And actually my next guitar actually plays into that sort of thing, because I wanted to balance it out. It just sucks that I got sucked into this sort of thing, even though there's like good things about the guitars that obviously look good. But I got it for the looks mainly, and the maple fretboard. That was one of the things I really liked about it, and I started putting heavy gauge strings on it. And that basically played my lower tuning stuff, and it was actually easier to play than a 7-string. Because you didn't have to worry about much string skipping, it was just business as usual, except for the thickness of the strings, which obviously are a big problem. But yeah, it didn't sit very well on the bridge, I'll say that, because of the heavy gauge strings it was. Yeah, I think that was it for that. So the next one is the Ibanez, fuck's sake, these names, RGIR 20FE Iron Label in black. Electric guitar, obviously. This thing was good. It was actually really good, and the reason I got it was because of the pickups, because I thought I could put a sticker inlay in it to make it look nice. And the pickups were pretty damn good, because they're EMG pickups, active I think. And it just made things sound so good, like the clean tone. I did research on this for the first time ever. The first time I ever did research on the guitar, for that matter. And it just sounded really good. I remember, I think Andertons were playing it. It was like a new EMG pickup thing. I was doing research to find a guitar with them for playability, and it was really good. And I still had it till 2023, and it was playing a flat standard songs. It could have probably been lower, to be honest. I enjoyed that guitar. I think it was at that time I was listening to Periphery. And I think I might have made the Race Skull CDLC on Rocksmith, because I used to be a CDLC creator. I was since like 2016, I think it was. Yeah, 2016. I remember because I was taking antidepressants at that time, first time ever. I was making CDLC, and that was a good way to distract me from the shit that it caused, but yeah. But yeah, I made Race Car, which was one of the hardest songs to make ever in Rocksmith because of all the time signatures and repeats. And the times weren't suited for it, and that's why people didn't make it, didn't bother. But I put the effort in and I made it eventually. Apparently there were some issues with it, and I didn't actually see them, to be honest. I didn't really get what they were. I think it was okay and well received other than that. As far as I know, nobody's actually attempted something like that yet. It's not a hard thing to do if you know how to tab and transcribe music. I was also transcribing at the time. That was an interesting sort of endeavour. So next, the 12th guitar. 12th. This is one of the most interesting ones because it's custom made. So I was doing research on custom made guitars, like what's the best one, what's cheapest. And the thing that came up consistently was Kiesel guitars, and I've also actually thinking of saving for a Scoverton, which I kind of regret now, because Scoverton are fucking amazing. Like, looking at their guitars are just eye candy every fucking time. Like, do a quick search, like the first thing that comes up in images anyway. Like just really good looking guitars overall. I do sort of regret not getting one of those. Like, it looks like a fucking Galaxy with a Poplar Bell. That's why I liked it. It also had this Ocean one, which I really liked, Raptor 8. I saved a lot of guitar images at that time also. That was kind of fun. Yeah, but the problem is that Scoverton was so fucking expensive, and I was also looking into a Australian one, is it? It's not Ormsby, it's a different Australian one. They did these like headstocks of like this sort of gap in between that looked pretty cool. I was for some reason hooked on that, but eventually I just persuaded myself not to get that. Go with a far more reliable guitar sort of thing. Just be content with it. And so I ended up with a Kiesel, and what I got was a Kiesel DC600 and designed it myself. It did turn out a bit different from what I expected it. I wanted it to be actually, but it turned out fine. I was actually quite happy with the result anyway. It was because it didn't have a designer at the time, so you didn't have any sort of choice of what you got. Like, if you didn't like it, then it's just kind of like tough shit, I think. But it was a pretty good guitar. And this was before all the problems came up with Kiesel. Because they got into a lot of controversy at that time, but I sort of looked past it, tried to honour the arts and not the artists. But I do regret that. And yeah, that's become an issue now, especially as well. Because I'm not obviously in like a good respect or whatever. Like, a lot of people don't really respect them, and the guitar's quality has certainly degraded, I think. In time, they haven't stood the test of time that well, but my guitar is still here and it's fine. It certainly has minor issues, like obviously the paint job obviously needs to be better. And I think the pickup's going to be better as well, if I'm not mistaken. But it's still a really good guitar. And I think I will keep it for the years going anyway. At least until I get cancelled. Which is like, I don't know, like maybe we should just sell it. And get a nice sort of 8-string or something. Or maybe make my Ormsby an 8-string or something. Get just a nice 6-string lead. But yeah, that's obviously a complication and it's not good. It's still one of the best looking guitars I have. And I still play it. I mainly use it for D standard. I think the way I look at it now is that the sort of paint job is like a deep ocean thing, like it's sort of a dark meaning to it. I originally named it 90 because I wanted to sort of make it like Pokemon, but no. I felt that. Something else now, but I felt that. So, the next guitar that I got, oh yeah, the price of that thing, fuck. I remember I got the money for Christmas and I put the order in all that day. Signed it and everything, prepared it, talked to the people there at Kiesel so I could sort of get it done exactly how I wanted it. And yeah, I think it put me back in total, including customs, which is like £250, like £2,000 total. It was expensive, but not really expensive as Scoverton. It was a pretty good guitar, and when it came I was pretty pleased with it. I still have the case for it actually. Or the carrying case that it came with. Yeah. So now we get on to the 13th guitar, which is a really interesting story actually. Because this one was bizarre. And this has like a caveat as well. at the time I was looking at guitar reviews and I got quite into them, but the problem is some of them weren't that great, they weren't very in detail, in depth, and that just put me off them a bit, and it took me a while to find a reliable guitar reviewer, but I found one. This one was called Arnold Plays Guitar, I think the name is. He's basically like a metal musician with pretty good experience in metal music actually. Like, he's made some pretty good on-the-spot songs and stuff for these guitar reviews. And his reviews were just stupidly in-depth, like, they blew my mind when I first saw them. And I was really pleased I found them because they gave good reviews and basically reasons why you should or should not purchase something. It also called out the stupid things that these companies do to sort of cut corners. And well, they cut frets because there's a lot of issues with guitars with sharp frets. And I actually owned a guitar with sharp frets once. I'll go into that, that's actually the next one. But the story is I found this guy, did reviews, and there's one guitar apparently sort of praised. Yeah, the reviews, there was always one guitar that he reviewed that was always consistently good, and that happened to be Ormsby Guitars, an Australian company. And also I forgot to mention this, but I'm actually vegan, and I don't know how many of these you actually use bone nuts? I don't know what you call them. But basically the nut of the guitar and the frets also in these. They could be sometimes made with bones, and obviously that's not vegan. Yeah, that's the awkward thing about being a musician, and that's sort of why I want to sell guitars as well. That's almost done anyway. Because I've I wanted to play them, I think. Just knowing how that sort of materials in them. Not great. I'm pretty sure the Ormsby has bone. Yeah, because it's like white and stuff. It's also around the guitar. So maybe not, I don't know. But anyway, Ormsby were one that was consistently brought up by Arnold Plays Guitar. And he always rated them pretty highly. And I saw the same thing from other reviewers just to see. And that was impressive to me. I was sold on it, so I decided to look into it. Because I hadn't bought a guitar since the Kiesel. It'd been like over a year or two since. And also my music taste were expanding as well, just to say that again. And they still do to this day. So I'll say I mention it. I was looking at Kiesel guitars, I was thinking, maybe I want a 6 string, maybe I want a 7 string or 8 string. 8 strings are too expensive. Couldn't find any guitars with these sort of headless things. Not headless, the cutout and the headstock. Which I wanted because that's why I liked Ormsby. And yeah, I just struggled to find anything until one day I came across I think it was a second-hand or refurbished guitar. But anyway, I came across this guitar randomly and it was, I think, half price. I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure there's like a good percentage off, and I was wondering like why, because it looked fine. It's in perfect condition, and the sort of grading thing, I think there was a grading factor on it. I can't remember where I bought it from. There's either Atherton's or Guitar, wherever sells these things even. Actually, I could even make it for music, I can't remember. But the thing is that they graded it because I think it had a broken electronic and it actually still is broken. It's like the bridge switcher thing. Don't know how to fix that, so that's maybe a good reason to sell it. Get a new one, as well as the Kiesel, but yeah, the bridge switcher. And there was also a little dink on the end of it, like near the pickups. There's a dink on the fretboard, which you can barely see. It's like a tiny scratch ever, and somehow it's there. I think it must have been a pencil lining, so they got caught up in the finish, but just like a good portion of money off the original price. I thought, fuck me. I better get that because that's a good deal, and I did. And I'm not kidding, but this is the best guitar I've ever owned. I get so many compliments about it this I've shown people my guitar collection, and this is one guitar that draws all the attraction because it's not only like the colour, because it's a nice colour, it's like a blue ocean burst on a beach site. It's also got the sharks and the inlay, the shark cut. It's just really good. And also the fact that it's is it multi-scale? I forgot fan fret, that's it. No. I'm confused, I think it was scallop fret for some reason. Yeah, funny story, I forgot to mention that. I was almost thinking of getting a Steve Vai guitar, but I didn't in the end, and that was probably for the better. It's an expensive guitar and I probably wouldn't have enjoyed it after all. It's just a gimmick. I like the Tree of Life inlay, but not enough. I'm not going to see it enough, to be honest. Anyway, the Osprey guitar, really good. I still use it to this day. It's my go-to lead guitar and B standard guitar. It's just really good and fun to play on. It took me a while to adjust because it's my first band for it, but it's still really good. Other than the electronic issue. Yeah. It's just a stupidly well designed guitar, and it's also quite lightweight for that matter because it's like a hollow bit inside. Yeah. So I can definitely rate Osprey guitars as well. And I think if I do end up selling these two, I think I'll still go with an Osprey guitar. Just because they just make such good quality ones. I like the pickups as well, are really good. They pick up well on Rocksmith and record well. When I did records for that matter. Yeah. And now my 14th final guitar. Widow. Yeah, that one label black one I sold earlier last year. Yeah, 14th final guitar. Lindo PBT series Purple Dove electric bass guitar. I love this thing, but it has problems. I got it mainly because they look. It's definitely a really good looking guitar. I definitely can't fault it for that. And it just played really well. It's really good for flat guitar. It's fun to play, fun to look at as well. I sure haven't got as many compliments on that as usual, but yeah. The inlays were really good. It's a Lindo guitar as well, so they're reliable. I could definitely vouch for them, even though it's like single pickup, it's definitely got enough sound. But yeah, 24 frets as well, that's the other thing. That's the only thing about guitars that I dislike. Is that sometimes the good ones are 22 frets, or even less actually. That's just shit. Like, it's good to have more notes. Yeah, the bass anyway is good. But I am thinking of selling this one as well. And so many Real Boo Burst guitar from before. Yeah, over this one. Yeah, I think that's it for the guitar story. I mainly got it to replace the rock guitar because I actually either sold it or gave it away. And the reason I did that was because like it was a good guitar, but I wanted something better. But I remember I think it actually had pickup issues. It also just felt weird, it's really loud as well. So that was one reason to get rid of it, because it's just sensory overload. Yeah, so that's it for guitars. I don't really have much else to say on it. It's just an insight into my collection. They all have different tunings it uses over the years. I've never really not used one except for the Rock Band one, which obviously sucked. That's where I am now in terms of guitar music. I'm still learning to play guitar, learn through songs. I still jam a bit on them, which is how I end up making songs actually. Like my recent original Terrestrial Trauma, it was the result of jamming out and finding like a chord progression through these bizarre chord shapes. It just worked out insanely well, and it's a pretty good original if I say so myself. Because it had no actual inspiration, it's just pure luck. Except for the bossa nova bit, that was inspired. I listen to bossa nova at night to sort of calm down, relax. It's the only thing I can really calm down to because I like jazz. Jazz is a bit sort of punchy, but bossa nova is like a good middle ground. It's not punchy enough to wake you, but it's good to listen to and focus on. The other thing with music is I actually want to record and possibly get into a band. The problem is, again, audio interface, and it's also finding people to play with. That's one of the biggest issues, because outside of anxiety, the issue of playing with people is you need to get along well with them. And I've watched a few documentaries before on like bands and stuff, like how they break up and switch members and all that. And the biggest problem again is like conflict of views, and also personality types at times as well. Like Guns N' Roses, obviously. Axl Rose, a bit of a dick. And yeah, so obviously I want to avoid that sort of thing. I think doing it online would be better. I have considered that, I'm not sure. I'll just add on to this because I made this back in June 2024. It's fucking crazy. It's now March 10th, 2025, so I'm making this. But yeah, some things have changed and there's like new additions and inspiration and stuff. I think the first thing is my bass. Ibanez something, can't remember the name, they always have weird names. But it's really nice, it's a nice looking bass, I can't wait for it. It just looks particularly good for what it is, and the price is not bad as well. I really like how it sounds despite the price. But I think, I don't know what else to say about it. It's good for slap bass, I've tried that. It's definitely loud, I find, and it's apparently too loud for Rocksmith, which is interesting. Yeah, the two things to add on to this is custom guitars and what I plan to do in the future. And really also wanted to talk about the joys of music after this bit specifically. And also I need to say that I'm not a collector because I pretty much don't have most of these guitars anymore. And the reason is that I just feel like I need to move on and also get guitars with better gear and stuff, better options. And that's why I'm moving towards custom guitars, just because they just tend to be better quality overall. They'll last, and that's the thing. I've had the Kiesel for over 7 years, and that was fine. But yeah. For custom guitars, one of my plans actually is to get one of my dream guitars, and I say one of them because there's multiple I want, to be honest, but I'm not planning on doing that, at least not in my current financial situation. I just really love how custom guitars look, more so than how they sound. That's why I got the Kiesel initially, and I don't really want to really get any more because they're expensive now. As I said, I want them to last, and I want to enjoy them for as long as possible now. And so I'm limiting my number of not only instruments, but the guitars I actually like. So the first custom I'm getting is my dream guitar, is a Skerva 7 Raptor. And I'll probably put some images on there if I could. Do I have them? Yeah, I think I'll do the things in the wish list. I like the options, and there is a few regrets with it, with ordering it. Like I didn't get a binding for some reason, and also didn't make it a fan for it, which would have been handy, and also 7 string. I see it being a sort of soloing guitar more than anything. One I just pick up to play a guitar solo on, and I think that's going to be fine. Because it's also got the tremolo bar, the whammy bar, whatever you call it. It's a very nice looking guitar, and that's why I've ordered it essentially. I think it's going to turn out pretty good, and it's expected to come after like 14 months. And it's a bit annoying really, but that's the thing. And this is like a company in Poland that makes these, and I think they get tons of them, tons of custom requests. But I have to wait and see how the quality turns out, but from reviews and stuff, I've not really seen any complaints. And I'm actually surprised how many people have sold their Skervesen guitars online, like second hand. Because I think that would have been my second option, if there was any good ones. But yeah, I'm surprised how many good looking ones there are that have sold. But it's not surprising they sold, that's the thing. But my next guitar is actually an interesting one, because I think this is going to be like my heaviest guitar, as in tuning and stuff. Skervesen is going to be E standard, and I'm probably going to use my Ormsby as like a F sharp standard tuning, so it's going to be 8 string guitar tunings basically. Somehow I have to figure out the tension on that somehow, because I don't know how to figure it out. I have got Synky or light tops and heavy bottoms, is that what it's called? But that sounds very gay. Right up my alley. But I think it's going to sound interesting as well when I do that. I also need to repair the electronics somehow. It's got a problem with the switch, it won't switch pickups anymore, which is annoying, but I think that's it. There's nothing else wrong with it. But this next guitar is an Ormsby, and the reason I went with Ormsby is because, having played this one for a long time, it's just really good quality, and I can't fault anything on this. It's just that good. And having said that, it does feel a bit sharp on like the fret edges, but not like where it usually is. It's like on the sort of curvy bit. I don't know. That's a bit odd. But they are generally good quality there. Well, everything else is good. You know, with that gear for music guitar, fucking hell. They've come a long way since, but back then that was awful. It not only sounded like crap, but it also just didn't work. And the build quality was just terrible. Like, the 7th string was so close to the E string that it's almost overlapping. With Ormsby, you won't get that, as far as I know anyway. I'm getting a guitar that nobody has reviewed, which is surprising, and because I'm going to be one of the only people who's bought it, I have to review it myself, and I don't really mind, to be honest. Like, I think it's going to be worth it in the end, and it's a nice looking guitar as well. One of the things I forgot to mention is with custom guitars is I'm aiming to go brighter and lighter than sort of all my previous guitars. Because I know it's a trend with it being like solid colour and stuff. And Accuser was the one to sort of break that mould essentially. Because I could have easily gone for like a black one, or even like just plain Poplar Bell with grey. I didn't in the end, and I don't regret that. The problem with like plain guitars is that they just don't feel like an art piece, because that's also why you get them. Why you get them custom for that matter, it's more like an art piece than an instrument, because it serves something visually rather than see auditorily, how do you say it? Audacity? I don't know. That's like one of the things, and that's important. Anything else I was going to say? Is this guitar I'm going to tune to like double drop tuning, drop F, drop A, and it's going to be C sharp standard. No, it's drop G sharp, isn't it? Or drop A. It's going to be heavy, essentially. and that's going to be pretty fun, I think, to play. Especially because I like that tuning. I don't hear many songs in C sharp. There's the old Architect song, and there's Parkway Drive as well. I can essentially write some Parkway Drive like riffs with that. The reason I don't do it with this guitar at the moment, it Hornsby, is just because I can't be bothered. I think it's too much effort to change the strings every time or to down tune. And does I say the regret of the Raptor, the scale of I'm getting, it's going to be the lack of multi-scale, because I want to get used to it, essentially, because I do think there is a difference in the sound, having gone between the keys on this, obviously. And the tension's different as well, like it's much easier to play the hollow strings as well. And also your fingers tend to like fret it almost perfectly. So usually the hand like curves when you play a chord anyway. And that's what a fanfare really helps with. And that's my only regret with the Skervazon at the moment. The biggest one. Even if it was just a 6-string, I'll still have it multi-scale. Yeah, but I think the only other thing after this, it's so annoying, I'm having to re-record something else for this video. It's been in the books for over like 6 months now, it's way too long. I thought about re-recording it, but then again, I've watched it back and most of the things on it are pretty accurate. From memory anyway, despite it being from memory. Yeah, like there's been a change to like the bass guitar approach. Basically I'm looking at multi-scale now, and I've got very few options for it, because as much as I want Dream Bass and that'll be affordable at some point, it's probably not the best thing to get right now, especially with how long it takes to make, for that matter. It's one of those things where I think I'd want to phase out having my current bass guitar, which is my Ibanez Sound Gear, whatever it was called. Yeah, I like selling that and getting a new one to replace that, essentially. And I want like stuff on it like Buckeye Bell and probably a better fretboard. Like there's probably ones other than Maple. Hopefully it's Skervazon, or if not, there's always Halo guitars. And I've already played around with the Guitar Maker thing, and it's really good. I haven't heard many good or bad things about them, and that's worrying. Yeah, given that not many people have actually seemed to have interacted with them, it's kind of telling that maybe it's not as good a quality as they think. Might be, well, I don't know. Yeah, that was one of the options. The other one was Dingle, and I've heard of them. I asked around on Pulsar Bass about the best bases out there, and people seem to sort of plug Dingle, but the problem is they're expensive, first of all, and second, they don't look that good. Like, they play well, they play fine, I've seen lots of videos, but in terms of appearance, I'm not sold on it. It looks boring, especially when it's plain colour, and even like the quilted maple. Even though it's the most appealing one of them, it's not appealing to me. It's just a bit more sticker. Yeah, it's just expensive for what it is, and I'm better off looking elsewhere. Looking at something with similar specs, similar sounds, and that appears to be something that I've found actually. An Ibanez BTP 805. Can't afford it at the moment. No, 805 MFI. They need to name this better. I'm going to get the grey version, weirdly enough, and the reason for that is because it looks better than the blue version and already have a blue guitar. So I don't want to fucking put all my money into this and have it be similar to the other one I've got. It does look, and it probably feels better as well to play. I already love the look. I've seen videos on it again, and it looks like quite a metal guitar, especially for multi-scale. Like, it looks like it's rusted metal and stuff. It's quite steampunky-esque. Looks pretty badass. But I'm looking to get that eventually when I can afford it again. Well, prices aren't actually too bad actually. 1,200 for this one. Well, it's £20 off. This one's 1,000. Yeah, it's like it's not a bad price for what it is. What it's trying to do is a 37-inch scale to 35, which is the main thing. That's the main point of it, really. It's designed for low tunings and stuff. That's going to be perfect to me. Perfect for me, even. I've seen others out there, but these are the only ones that sort of appeal to me at the moment. And you know, I didn't want to go into dark guitars again, but it looks like for this case I'm probably fine with it. Yeah. That's the bass, and the custom one will just come later, essentially. And I forgot to add another guitar to this. Fuck yeah. And another sort of dream of mine. I got an acoustic guitar, and I was a bit sceptical at first because of what the noise level, but it turns out with headphones it's fine. And it sounds good. And the acoustic guitar I got as well as like an add-on, the only ball sort of blocker thing. It's a fractal acoustic guitar, and it's pretty good as far as I know. It's got some rough bits around. It really, I wanted one of the higher end ones, but I ended up not doing that because one, they're not vegan, and two, even though it looks great, I don't know if I'd like looking at it for that long. But I do like this guitar. It's not bad. But I think in the future, again, if I come into money, I'll probably get a smaller acoustic guitar and also a custom one, because I was looking at Alexander Misko's acoustic guitar covers, which I've known for years, and they're amazing. I noticed he's got a new Fanfret guitar, which is insane, and I feel like getting one of those. Like, it'd probably be stupidly expensive, but even then, not only does it look cool, it probably plays better as well. And it'll go in line with like Fanfret guitars and stuff. But if I can get one that's like 7-string, that'd be even better. Yeah, there's things that I want to do on like an acoustic guitar. I want to jam on it, and that would probably help in the process anyway. That's one of my future dreams anyway, which will probably never happen anyway. I think the only other thing to add as well to this musical journey that I've been on is just how you end up getting to a point where, you know, you're having fun, you're actually making something that matters. You know, it took me years to learn songs, and I applied all that knowledge to making music here. And you know, you're doing something right, I think, if people like it and if you're enjoying it yourself. Because I think one of the worst things to have with a hobby like this is not having the motivation, and I've definitely felt that. I felt that for years. That's why I got so many different guitars, I think, because that was my motivation. I eventually funneled it into something else and started listening to more music or artists and figuring out their music. But at the moment, the most impossible song that I know are actually from Polyphia, rather than Dragon Force. Even Obscura has some, even though it's a controversial band because of, well, plagiarism and shit like that. To me, that band always belonged to the people who didn't plagiarise it, basically. Basically all the band members that used to be in that and are no longer with them because of controversies. I don't credit anything of that band to the guy who's at the front of it, basically. Even though it is a good band, but it's just not. It's not a very stable band, also. Yeah. it's led me down this route of like tools and stuff, like learning how to program music, use VSTs, and now finally recording it. And I've figured out the trick to recording essentially, other than splicing, is like playing it multiple times until you get it right. And I've got like a template as well, like I have with my VST metal. And yeah, you know you like your music if you listen to it back a lot and also have it in your head. That's the other thing. I think when it gets stuck in your head, that's probably when it's good. If there's anything else to say, like as for like audio interfaces and stuff, I haven't considered it because the last time I got an audio interface, it fucking sucked. I couldn't tell you how bad it was. It was just so bad. It was a Steinberg Mark II or something, and it had this delay. You had to run it at 24-bit quality for some reason. But the biggest gripe of it was the audio delay. Like, I was playing Overwatch at the time, I think, and I was setting up like audio and stuff, and I got it right eventually. But there's always this delay when recording and stuff, and when I got into games and stuff, I'd notice right away, like, I'll be playing Overwatch, there'd be a Sombra or something like appearing behind me, like, voila. And that'd come like after I died to that. It's because of the fucking audio delay, it's so bad. You can't game and make music on that, so in the end I've just settled on using a Rocksmith cable, even if it means modular audio. I'm not sure if it does. I think it comes with a preamp, technically speaking, which is handy. Yeah, I can't be bothered with setting up an audio interface, and even then, the highest end ones are apparently low latency. They cost like thousands of pounds. It's like, nobody's going to spend that. Especially when you have to pay for all your gear and your guitars and stuff. It's ridiculous. I might have spent thousands on VSTs already, but like, come on. No way I'm just going to upgrade to like an audio interface so I get better sounding music. It's just, that price range is bad. Like even the PCIe cards, which are supposedly the best, you just can't get any because they're so expensive. And with inflation now, it's even harder to get. So I can't be bothered. Now I've got a computer here that costs twice that much, or even 3 times actually. The time of buying it, I think. I just don't want to spend that much on music when what I've got is already decent enough. Like, it just gets the job done. And I can enjoy it still. Yeah. I think that's all I've got to say on this, really. It's music. Yeah, thanks for listening though. I think that's all I've got to show. Yeah. And I'll see you out enough of you.